Hello, and welcome to the third stop on the ASAP Roadmap to Academic Achievement Action Series. This is the Career Connection. For those of you who may not have attended a group meeting with me so far this semester, my name is Bridget Tambini. I'm one of the ASAP Academic Advisors, and I also am the Academic Success Specialist within ASAP. Before we jump into today's topic, I just want to remind everyone that this is the Roadmap to Academic Achievement Action Series that we have created for this fall semester. So you will continue to hear from me throughout the semester in order to touch upon the different topics and the task and tools we will be sharing through each of these different stops, which will be spread out between now and the remainder of the semester. So right now we are at stop number 3, the Career Connections, and participation and reviewing this particular recording and answering the follow-up questions after this recording will give you the credit for September's group meeting. So today's session, we actually have it broken down into 2 portions. So the first portion, I'm going to revisit your personal route planner, which was a link that was shared out between August's meeting and today's meeting. And on your personal route planner, you were asked to think of one word that you wanted to describe your fall semester by the end of it, and then also talked about creating one specific habit that you will focus on building this semester in order to make that word an actual reality. So we're going to spend a little bit of time reviewing the personal route planner and what you have filled out on that. If you've not already filled it out, you will have an opportunity to fill that out as well. And also just to talk a little bit more about a strategy in order to put your habit into practice. The second portion of this presentation will focus on the career connection, where we'll be talking a little bit more about how to leverage your career engagement for your overall success, and how linking what you're learning in your classes is actually directly connected to your future goals. We'll also be telling you a little bit about some of the resources available to you on campus that can help you in your career development. And lastly, just talking a little bit more about growing your professional brand. So with that being said, as I had mentioned prior to this meeting, everyone was asked to take some time to reflect and fill out a personal route planner. So what is going to happen here? These particular questions will be asked in a follow-up in the Qualtrics where you are viewing this presentation now. And these are the questions that you're going to be asked to fill in. First is, what is the word that you wrote down that you hope will describe your semester by the end? The second, what habit did you commit to building this semester to make that word a reality? Also just checking in to see if you've gotten started on building this habit, and asking you a little bit of self-reflection as to what has been easy or challenging in building this new habit into your daily routine. So you'll have a minute to answer these questions after you review this particular recorded presentation. So it's just important to remember that the word that you chose to describe your semester by the end, it's put there in place to set the tone and to shape your experience this semester in the actions that you take and those that you don't take. And it's the habit that you're developing throughout this semester that will actually lead to progress towards making this word a reality. So more to come in the questions after this recorded group meeting. So when it comes to developing a new habit, this can take time and it can be challenging. So first and foremost, you want to design your physical environment to support the building of the new habit you're trying to put into your daily life. Sometimes the environment that we surround ourselves with, whether it's our physical environment like our space at home, the people we're hanging out with, where we're trying to get work done, all of these things around us has a direct impact on our experience, on our ability to stay focused, to stay on track. So the first thing you want to consider is your environment supporting the development of this habit that you're trying to build into your daily routine. So, as an example here, if your habit is to keep up with reviewing coursework each day, if you have your phone in your direct eyesight while you're trying to do this, if you're finding that that's a distraction, that's part of your environment. And if that being in your environment is pulling away from your ability to stick with your habit, which is to focus and review work, then you want to make sure that you're doing something about that and adjusting your environment to support your positive actions as opposed to working against you. So in this situation, keeping your phone out of sight when you're studying or reviewing notes is a great way to control that physical environment and have it work for you, and to limit your distractions and help you to increase your focus. It's also important to keep it simple and be as specific as possible. So starting with just 10 minutes a day, implementing this habit that you're trying to build into your daily routine. Starting small and building upon that helps you to be more consistent in your follow through, and also helps it to actually become part of your daily routine. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes. As I mentioned in August meeting, if you can tie this new habit that you're trying to build into an existing routine you already have in your day-to-day life, it's much easier to have this new habit stick. So, for example, if, again, your goal or your habit is to review notes each day, maybe do that right after eating dinner each night or right after breakfast in the morning. Connect it to something you're already doing daily, and it's likely to be easier to have it actually stick. Using visual or time-based reminders can also be very helpful, especially in the beginning when this is a new habit. You're not typically used to doing this. So having some kind of alarms, maybe sticky notes to remind you, put them on your bathroom mirror or your mirror in your bathroom or in your room, or having digital alerts or reminders can be very helpful in reminding you that this is a new habit you're trying to build and remind you to actually take the action. Along with that, as you are taking action, you want to track your progress to record each successful day that you are completing this new habit and taking these positive actions. This will help you to create a chain of consistent behavior, and that will help to increase motivation to continue building upon that. I know I've shared these before, but these are just a few tools that can help you track your success in developing this new habit. Small, consistent actions build momentum. So you want to think, what is the ripple effect that developing this new habit will have? How will this habit shape not just your semester, but your overall growth? There's a great quote that really stood out to me that I feel sums this up really nicely. It's by John Dryden, and he says, "First we make our habits, then our habits make us." So we want to make sure that we're doing things, that we're taking actions that have a positive impact and a positive ripple effect. And that's what we want you to be really focusing on this semester, this one habit that you feel has the biggest impact, not over just maybe academics, but it could have an impact on your overall well-being and your overall growth as well. So when we're building a new habit, we can run into some roadblocks. So let's take just a few moments to speak about a few ways to get around them. I think one of the biggest roadblocks that many of us run into as individuals is procrastination, just kind of putting things off. And by nature, as human beings, we tend to procrastinate when we're faced with something we don't find enjoyable, interesting, or we don't necessarily connect with, or it makes us feel sort of uncomfortable. So this is a normal human reaction, but it's important to know that even though those feelings come up, we ultimately still have the choice to take action or not. We don't need to give in to that feeling of wanting to put it off just because it's not fun or super enjoyable. We can make the decision, okay, even though I'm not excited about doing this, even though there's other things I'd much rather be doing now, try to get into the habit of just getting started, committing to just 2 minutes to take one positive action. And what will typically happen is once you get started, once you physically just take the initiative to do an action, From there, you will likely wind up doing more than just the 2 minutes you initially started off with. Getting started is typically the hardest part, excuse me. I like to refer back to comparing it to developing maybe an exercise habit, right? I feel personally that getting to the gym or starting the workout is typically the hardest part. Once you're actually in it and involved, it's much more easy. But it's the getting started that's the hard part. So if you can get yourself to just commit to starting just 2 minutes, you will likely see momentum come from there. And then that momentum will help fuel your motivation to do more. When it comes to burnout, sometimes we are taking on too much too fast. So when you're starting to implement this habit, you're encouraged to start small. And then as you are consistent with those small steps, you increase gradually. It's also important to build in some rest days and some breaks so that you can recharge. And you want to focus on your progress, not reaching perfection, which does not exist, but progress. Are you making progress each day? Consistency matters more than intensity. Now, along with procrastination, distractions tends to be the biggest roadblock I think many of us follow, especially when we're trying to develop new and healthy habits. These distractions could come in the form of our phone, our friends, gaming, Netflix, streaming services. Creating time and space where you have fewer temptations and distractions can be very helpful. So instead of letting these distractions have control over you, it's important for you to set some healthy boundaries around these distractions. Being on your phone, hanging out with friends, watching a couple of, series is not a bad thing at all by itself. There's a place and time for everything. It's just a matter of setting some healthy boundaries around how much time and when you're engaging with these things to allow for um, productive habits as well, or a balance within how your time is being spent. Self-doubt can also really impact our ability to change the direction in which we're going in and to start creating healthy habits. So it's important to know that in your mind you have a constant dialogue that's being played out. This is considered or known as your self-talk. And some of us could be or tend to go in more of the negative self-talk than the positive. We tend to, see things maybe a little bit more negative and pessimistic as opposed to talking more encouraging and optimistic. So if this is something you struggle with, it's important to first, number one, recognize when you have this negative self-talk reel playing in your head. And you want to get to the habit of interrupting those thoughts and to refocus your thoughts and the words that you're saying to yourself into a more positive, encouraging direction. Okay. You want to celebrate the small wins, not thinking and focusing on how much you have to do or maybe what has happened before, but focusing on what am I doing right now in this moment that has been positive and learning to lean on that and build upon those small wins. Leaning into support systems such as friends, your advisor, tutoring services, counseling services, when you're having a lot of self-doubt or your motivation is dipping, can be really helpful in helping you to get back on track and stay on track. Another great quote that I really love that when I heard it really, really spoke to me is your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Again, your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. So you want to ask yourself, what are my thoughts? And are these thoughts moving me in a positive direction or a negative direction? And understanding that although these thoughts might come to your head, it doesn't mean that you have to give in to them or play them over and over. You do have the ability to challenge those thoughts and to redirect them into a more positive direction. It does take time, but it is absolutely possible with continued consistent challenging of your internal dialogue. So new habits, they take time to develop, and setbacks are often part of this journey. What matters is how you react to these setbacks and how you decide to reroute. So success does not happen alone. Who or what will help you stay consistent? That's a question I want you to ask yourself. Some potential support systems could include tutors at our tutoring center, your ASAP advisor, your professors, classmates, family members, and friends who are supportive of you. And when it comes to your part, holding yourself accountable, tracking your progress, being honest with yourself, being consistent, checking in with friends and family, let them know what you're looking to do, what you're trying to work towards this semester. Getting that support and encouragement can be really helpful. Making sure you're attending your monthly appointments with your ASAP advisor and coming in with questions that you want to address can really help those appointments be extremely beneficial. Being open to attending your professor's office hours to connect not only with the professor, but maybe to review information that was a little unclear during class. And possibly looking around at your classmates and finding, 2 or 3 students who have equal goals as you to be successful in this class, and to create a study group where you can help support each other, not only through the material, but just really in a social setting as well. So your action steps for this week. Number 1, we want you to commit to your habit with a clear plan of how you're going to start implementing it. If you've not already done so, or if you have started, how you can continue in being consistent with that. Breaking your habit down into small steps that are simple and doable will help you to avoid procrastination and will help you to more likely stick with it and build upon it. You want to be specific. Choose one action that you can do this week. And you want to fill in this sentence here. This week, I will blank, whatever the habit is that you're committed to, on what specific days and at what time and what location. Okay, be very specific. So to sum it up simply, your action steps for this week are to commit clearly to your habit, start small, and take one specific action that's going to put you in the right direction and lead you to creating this habit into your daily routine. You don't need to be perfect. Again, perfection is not an actual achievable goal. You just need to be consistent as possible. One step at a time, you are creating the semester that you want and one that you can feel good about and proud about at the end. Okay. Now, just going to transition to the second portion of this group meeting, which is stop number 3 of our action series this semester, which is the career connection. So, college is ultimately a foundation for your long-term career. Even though it's sometimes hard to see the connection, every class that you are taking builds certain skills that employers are looking for and they value. These include critical thinking skills, communication skills, both written and verbally, the ability to problem solve. This is something you do through all the different subjects and courses that you take. Your degree ultimately shows that you have commitment, that you're disciplined, that you are holding yourself accountable, and you have the ability to complete long-term goals. That in itself says a lot about you and something that future employers are going to be looking for. So connecting what you're learning in the classroom to the actual careers that you hope to get. So when you're taking classes such as math and science, the skills that you're developing in these classes include analytical thinking, data skills, problem solving, looking outside the box, approaching different problems as well, trying to troubleshoot. In your English and humanities classes, you're taught different communication skills, both written and verbally, creativity and thought, and also cultural awareness. In business or social science classes, you develop skills such as leadership, teamwork, and help with decision making. And lastly, in your technology, your STEM classes, your lab classes, this allows you to develop technical skills, helping you to use digital tools, which is becoming more and more intricate in most fields of work as well, and also helps you with adaptability. So when we're talking about careers, the term transferable skills comes up a lot. Now, what exactly is this? Transferable skills are skills that you learn whether through a class or an experience that you can then apply to your future career. So, for example, When you're asked to do group projects, the skill that you're developing is teamwork and collaboration. In many jobs, you'll be working with other individuals. You'll be asked to work on teams, you'll be asked to work on projects with other individuals. So when you're asked to do a group project in your classes, you're learning and developing the skills that you need to ultimately transfer these skills to your career. Same when it comes to presentations, public speaking, and the confidence in being able to communicate and verbalize your thoughts in front of a larger group or out in the open is a very important skill that's typically called upon in many careers. When your classes ask you to complete a research paper, this requires the ability to analyze different material, to compare and contrast different statistics, and to be organized in your thoughts in your presentation. Lastly, deadlines. Deadlines are a part of life. Deadlines are, set by your professors as to when projects are due, when tests will happen, and it's important that you, um, adhere to those deadlines. The same type of expectation will be had by your employer. There will be specific deadlines that certain things need to be completed. And it also helps you to develop time management, knowing, okay, this is coming up. I need to get this done by this time. How can I plan my time out and my actions out now to make sure I don't miss that deadline? It also helps you to hold yourself accountable as well, which is going to be a huge part of being a successful employee. Career relevance. So the courses that you take provide both job-specific knowledge, such as technical skills, and also something known as soft skills, which are professional behaviors within the career environment. Employees want well-rounded candidates who can adapt and contribute right away. Sure, you have your basic skills and foundation, but they want you to be able to jump in. They want you to be someone who's open to learning, who's trainable, who wants to get right into it. Every assignment is really practice for real world experience and expectations that will be had when you enter the workforce. Knowledge to career pathways. Major specific classes that you have, and each of you have some general education courses, but your degree is also made up of some major specific classes as well. These are there to help prepare you for the specific industry roles or career roles that you're looking to get a job in. The electives that make up your degree, or the more common core classes that make up your degree, these let you explore different fields, help to diversify your experience and your skill set. Also, for students who may be a little bit unsure as to what they want to get a career in, taking these electives or common core classes by exposing you to many different types of fields can sometimes help you to find a particular area in which you want to focus in and ultimately get a career in. The general education courses creates also adaptability and also well-rounded thinkers and exposure to many different topics to make you a well-rounded person and to give you skills like outside the box thinking, communication skills, analytical skills, all of which are helpful transferable skills to the career setting. College also equals professional networking. Your professors have earned their degree in specific fields, some of which might be a field that you are also interested in getting a career in. So you want to look at your professors as mentors, and ultimately they can be references for you for internship opportunities, even job opportunities upon graduation. So connecting with your professors, especially the ones that are teaching in the field you want to get a career in, is absolutely vital in order to seek out some additional guidance in this area, to get some extra support and even potentially some references as well. It's also important to know that the classmates around you, these potentially could be your future colleagues in your career, or they could be a professional networking opportunity as well. Make those connections, connect with others in your class. Not only is it great for the social aspect of your career experience, but long term, these could be the individuals who could help you land that next job. There's also many different campus events, different clubs and activities on campus, potential for internship opportunities, which will allow you to get more exposure to your future career. and also to help connect you to future employers as well. So when you see these events posts around campus or you receive emails about them, take the time to attend. You never know who you might meet there or what you could potentially gain from that experience. Career habits ultimately start in college. So, attending your class regularly. This shows and builds reliability. It also builds discipline as well. Attendance in any career is going to be mandatory, right? So if you get into the habit of holding yourself accountable to the schedule that you have and making sure that you're showing up on time, this is a skill that you will absolutely need and need to pull into your everyday life as a professional worker. Meeting deadlines and managing your time, also skills that you will practice throughout your time in college. And ultimately, once you do this a lot, and usually time management comes from trying things and it not working out, and then going back and trying to readjust things. This is the great development of your time management skills, which will be needed to meet deadlines once you're in your professional career. When you are creating a study routine for yourself, this helps you to build discipline and create self-motivation. And again, as I mentioned before, with group work, this helps you to be able to communicate with others, to take on potential leadership roles, to be open to others' views, and to work together professionally and respectfully. From classroom to career example. So again, some ways to connect what you're doing in your daily classes to what you'll be doing outside of college. So writing a research paper can help you to write reports for your work. This is a very common thing. Your supervisor will also often ask you to please write up a summary of what you've been working on, the results of any kind of work that you've been asked to complete. Group presentations and projects. You might be in a position where you have to pitch an idea to a client or to a larger group or organization for funding. Managing your semester schedule helps you to balance multiple responsibilities at the same time. Oftentimes in careers, you are asked to juggle multiple different jobs. So doing that right now as a college student, managing your semester schedule and the assignments that you have can help you build those skills to be able to do that in your professional life as well. And learning new technology, different platforms, different online tools. There's more and more online tools being used in the professional setting of all types each day. So the more you can learn, try and adapt to these new tools and be willing to kind of pivot from different online platforms, the more adaptable you're going to be to using any kind of online platforms or technology that your professional career requires of you. So each course that you take, it adds to your career toolkit. And the experiences that you have here build and strengthen your soft skills and your professional skills. College develops adaptability. It also develops resilience and professionalism. This is a safe place to start practicing these skills. And what you learn today prepares you for the workplace of tomorrow. So the more that you could see how these things overlap and connect, the more we want this to motivate you to not think of these classes as random and unconnected, but actually seeing the ways in which it does connect in the future of your career and your profession and how you show up and are prepared for those fields of work. So with that being said, I want to thank you for the time and attention you took in reviewing this presentation. As I mentioned at the very start of it, there will be some follow-up questions asked in the Qualtrics survey that go along directly with some of the things that we went over in this video. Please make sure that you complete those questions and submit the survey in order to get full credit for your semester group meeting. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to your ASAP advisor and also be on the lookout for information on how to sign up and complete the next action step of the Academic Achievement Action Series that we have going on this semester. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.